So I had a friend who said that for them, career was a bit more of a verb than a noun. And I've always remembered that, you, you don't always plan a path. You sometimes find yourself kind of bouncing around a bit. And I think for my early years, that's exactly what it was like. I did a degree in social and political sciences. I then worked for policy and political parties, and I realised that I simply didn't know enough to give enough. So I decided I'd do more research. I went back to my old social and political sciences department and discovered that they couldn't spell the word environment. And I knew that I wanted to work on the politics of climate change and sustainability. And it was literally a conversation, a rather sad looking me with a pint at the bar, in the student bar, saying, they just don't get it. I don't know where to go. And the guy said, have you not met geography before? So I then went and met one of his supervisors, and I was embarrassed by my failure to arrive at their door earlier, really. So I then did my PhD in the geography department and have taught or worked in geography university departments ever since. And I think the thing that I immediately got about it, and really profoundly regretted not having started earlier at school, was that it's the place in the school and university system where the natural and social sciences and humanities can come together. You can hold all parts of a question in one place. It's difficult. You never feel like you've got a complete answer, but actually that equips you to approach all sorts of quite sophisticated, quite tricky questions. For me, my PhD question was about built environment. It was about cities, and it was about transport. Why is it we identified what our problems with our transport system were in environmental terms in the late 60s, but we didn't appear to be doing anything about it in the early 90s. So I was trying to analyse that, and geography was a great home to do that. And I've then taken those tools into the future.
Having spoken to a lot of planners today at this event, it definitely seems like learning is a huge part of that job, and it sounds like that is across so many roles in geography from what you're saying.
Well, I'm a big believer in the fact that learning is never over. And so although it's it may not feel like it at the time, but it's a fantastic luxury to be a school or university student with all that time to really think into a problem. But actually, we should just keep that habit all our lives, and particularly if you're working on sustainability, built environment questions. This is such a dynamic set of issues, with so many positive things happening as well as the challenges we're all very familiar with, that actually if you don't keep learning, you're not going to be able to play your role on the team. So that should be part of all our lives. I think we should all try and just lever apart a bit more time to keep looking afresh at questions and be willing to ask where we've been wrong.
What advice do you have for students who are attending this event, who are geography students interested in geography and looking for a career based on that interest?
So it's a really interesting moment when you're just on the edge of a decision that feels like there's only one perfect outcome. And actually, I didn't agree with my head teacher on a lot of things, but he gave one piece of advice which I think has always been really spot on, which is that you're all very worried about finding the perfect place to do the perfect thing, and there's only one correct answer. Actually, for almost all of you, he was speaking to us as a hall full of sixth form students, the moment you start in the thing you're doing, you'll realise it was the only place and the only decision you could have made, for almost everyone. And I think that was true for almost all of us. But I think when it comes to trying to make a choice, whether it's about your A-levels or the degree or then the profession you might do, try and be authentic, try and be true to yourself, and recognise the things that just have a little bit of a passion sitting at the core of them. It doesn't have to be a thing that, explodes out off the page in front of you, but it might be just something where you recognise yourself in a sentence or an idea or an image, and you can see yourself either contributing to addressing a problem or contributing to taking an opportunity. And that might be a very local thing, but actually it might be a global problem or challenge that you can see yourself playing a role in. So I think authenticity is something to hold close to.